Small doesn't have to be boring. The Mini proved that years ago. Just recently, the Renault 5 proved that small and electric didn't need to be boring. Now, Hyundai's joined the party with the Inster. It's small, but you guessed it, it is anything but boring. Look at it! Look at how cute it is! I don't know whether I want to drive it or take it home and give it a saucer of milk. It's so cool! Anyway, the Hyundai Inster. I love it. Now, this is a properly small car. 3.8 metres long, which means that it is actually quite usefully shorter even than cars like the Renault 5 and the Citroën EC3, which this is a key rival to. It's actually very similar size to the Dacia Spring, although the Spring is much cheaper and much more basic. So Hyundai would tell you that it's not really a rival. But there you go, that's what we're talking about with the Hyundai Inster. I would add, even though this is shorter than the Citroën EC3 and the Renault 5, it's got a longer wheelbase. So if you look, the wheels are right at the far corners of the car. It's a really interesting design, this, very clever. This is actually basically, if you know what a Japanese K car is, it's a car that's sort of very small. Japan's had them for many decades so that they can make the most of the space in their cities. This is basically Korea's version of a K car. It's based on something called a Casper. But this is the version we get in Europe, and I think it looks fabulous, and it's very clever. And while the car is small, the range is not. So you can actually get this with 2 batteries, offering a WLTP range of between 202 and 223 miles. Okay, so maybe the Hyundai Inster is an acquired taste when it comes to style. I know some who think it looks quite odd and a bit ungainly, but I personally love the pixel styling and the unmistakable Asian influences there. If Pokemon did cars, this is probably what it'd look like. The owlish daytime running lights give it a wide-eyed face, the wheel arch trims give a bit of a chunky look. I love the roof rails that you get on the O2 trim car as well, and those narrow, high-set rear lights have something of a villainous robot about them. And if you think the outside is cool, you should see the inside. Because it is inside where the Insta's real party tricks happen. So, look at this. Now, the boot in the Inster is very clever because you've got a boot, standard boot 238 litres, that's all right, but these middle seats, provided you go for the O2 trim that nearly all buyers are going to go for, well, they slide forwards, and that means that you get space of around 350 litres. Now, I'll show you this in a minute, but that means that's nearly the size of a Volkswagen ID3 in a tiny car like this. Yes, you have to compromise because you have to decide to kind of give up your rear passenger legroom if you want the bigger boot space, but having the option I think is really great because I'm really bored of cars not offering any seat versatility. What happened to offering useful solutions where you can slide the seats, fold the seats around, just do cool stuff? Look at this. So Hyundai's even got a very fancy load bay cover. I mean, let's face it, it looks a bit cheap, but it does the job. So you can clip that onto there and then you've got that, or you can take the whole thing out. And they've got these so that when you've got the seat slid forward, this seat is slid forward at the moment, and that means that you don't lose stuff down the gap, so you don't lose all your groceries down there when you've got that in there. And there's more. Look, storage space under there. And as if that weren't enough, that this tiny little, well, we'll call it a city car for now, but more on that in a minute. The front seats, both of them, the driver's seat and the passenger seat, fold flat as well. So you can, in fact, put all of these forwards, and you can get your surfboard in there, or sleep in there. It's very clever, isn't it? Okay, so rear passenger space in the Inster. I will add, this driving position is set up for me. I am 5'7", I've got reasonably long legs, so I like to sit quite a long way back from the pedals, so that's not a bad driving position up there, loads of space. And up here, the seats are, that is as far forward as they go. So you can even get a person in the back here with the seats as far forward as they'll go, but you can also have them all the way back like that. Loads of space. Loads of space. Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? It's such a clever little car. I know I keep saying that, but I'm very impressed with it. And look at this. You get the plastic backing on the seats in front, which is really good if you've got kids, because you can just wipe it clean. And I want to talk to you about Hyundai accessories, because the Inster, there's a lot of personalisation stuff, and also there's a lot of cunning little, sort of neat little tricks that you can buy. So, check out my umbrella scabbard. Is that a thing? Can you get an umbrella scabbard? There you go, and look, it's an official Hyundai thing, and it literally just clicks on. I should draw attention to the very obvious fact that this is a 4-seat car. You can't put 3 people across this rear bench. There are only 2 seat belts, but you do get 2 nice wide seats, both of which slide, and they recline too. So you can sort of fold it back a bit like that. Oh, lovely. I mean, how about that? That's properly luxurious for a little car, isn't it? So it will come as no surprise to you that I also really like it in the front of the Hyundai Inster. Now, up here, it's actually a bit busier than I think perhaps is ideal. And I don't say that often about a lot of cars, because most cars these days are fairly minimalist. But it's busy, and yet I actually don't mind it. So you've got these proper physical aircon buttons here. And let's face it, we're always going on about how much we want those. And these are really straightforward. So you've got your fan speed, your temperature, your auto button, it's all there. Straightforward, easy. You've got physical, proper heated seats, heated seat buttons there. That's part of the O2 trim, by the way, the heated seats. And you've also got some funky little details, like you see the 4 little blobs on the steering wheel here. That says H in Morse code. Plus, you've got your gear shifter on the column here. You've got straightforward touchscreen up here, which has got everything you want on there. But it has got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but you have to plug your phone in with a cable. How very sort of, I don't know, 10 years ago? It feels like that's a weird omission for Hyundai and Kia at the moment, that you don't get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. That's my only thing. You even get wireless phone charging, but obviously you're probably going to have your phone plugged in anyway, aren't you? Regardless, you've got cubbies. I like the driving position. There's enough adjustment. It's manual adjustment, but you can get comfy pretty easily. There isn't any lumbar adjustment. I sort of wish there was, but then I always do, because I do like quite a lot of lower back support in seats. We've got a car here which has got a black interior, which is very practical and is probably the one you should buy if you're at all worried about keeping it looking nice over the years. But you can get a paler interior, which has got fabulous houndstooth cloth, and it looks brilliantly retro, sort of 1970s-ish, and I do think it looks absolutely epic, and I love that you can get that. So there's that too. Basically, I like it up here. It's spacious, it's very functional, the view out's great, the driving position's good, spot on. As for charging, the Insta charges at up to 85 kilowatts for the long-range model. It's a fraction slower than that for the smaller battery, which doesn't sound terribly quick, but because they're such a modest battery size, it means that they're still capable of a 10 to 80% top-up in under half an hour, regardless of which battery you go for. You also get a heat pump and battery preheating and conditioning as standard, which is fantastic for such a small, affordable car. You can get vehicle-to-load charging as well, which means that you can plug in your electrical devices and charge it from the car's battery via a 3-pin socket in the front of the car, but that is optional and it's only offered on the O2 trim. Now, there's plenty to talk about with how the Insta drives, but one of those things is not performance, because, yeah, it's pretty slow. So we're talking about, if you go for the lower powered, smaller battery version of the Insta, so you go for the O1, well, you're talking about 11.7 seconds to 62, which does feel pretty glacial by today's standards, doesn't it? I have to say, when even your average electric family hatchback seems to do about sort of 7 seconds to 62 and more. But if you go for the bigger battery one that we've got here, well, you get a whopping 113 brake horsepower. Oh, all of that power streaming to the front wheels. And that will get you 0 to 62 in well under 11 seconds. so about 10 and a half seconds, something like that. Now look, I don't want to sound like I'm kind of dissing the car here, because I'm not. I actually think that Insta drives really well, and I really don't care about the fact that the performance looks really slow, because it doesn't feel slow in reality. In the sort of driving that you're going to do in this car, which is suburban, kind of around town stuff, more like what we're doing right now, it feels perfect. It's punchy, it actually feels pretty nippy up to about 40 miles an hour. It's only after that that it starts to feel a little bit gutless at times. And it's really smooth. You've got the Hyundai, you may be familiar with this now if you follow stuff about EVs, but Hyundai Kia have a really good brake regen system. So you control it by paddles on the steering wheel. It's got 3 levels, and you can have it in adaptive, which means that it will keep a safe distance from the car in front, and it will automatically brake harder when that distance gets too close. So it's like having adaptive cruise on all the time. And it sounds like that would be intrusive, but actually it's really good. It bleeds in really nicely, it's really easy to get used to, or you can turn the adaptive aspect off and just have a set limit for that brake regen. It's just very variable, but it's also very easy to get along with because it's judged really well. So if anything, I'd say the actual brake pedal in the Inster can be a little bit grabby, so you have to get a bit used to that. It's very sensitive, but it's just a very easy car to drive smoothly, and it's perfect for around town because once you've chosen the level of regen that you want, it just kind of flows really nicely. Not least because it rides really well as well. So this car's on Michelin tyres and it's got 17-inch alloys because it's the O2. Love the alloy design on this car as well, by the way. It rides really well. So it's not too soft, it doesn't feel all sort of wobbly and floaty and a bit sort of blancmangy. It's just nice. It's really nicely controlled, and yet it sort of takes out all the stinginess of all the sort of a bad road surface. It's really nicely judged. I like it a lot. The road surfaces around here are quite poor, and yet it's a really nice, comfy thing to drive. Steering's nice and light. If I've got anything to complain about, I'm a little bit disappointed in the turning circle. 10.6 metres. That's not amazing. I mean, you think about, you know, stuff like the Honda E, which I know wasn't a great success, largely because it was expensive and short range. But some of the engineering on that, I mean, that thing had a turning circle of under 10 metres, which was amazing. So it felt like it turned on its own axis. This doesn't. So I have to say you have to sort of take into account that the turning circle might not be what you expect it to be. But it's such a small car. It's 1.6 metres wide, this car, not including the wing mirrors. So it's really dinky, really dinky. And, you know, it's just great. It's really nice to drive. And it's just so ideal for so many circumstances. And another point I really want to make is that this is not just about being around town, not only because the range on this car is very good, and in the real world as well as the actual official range, and I'll more about that in a second, but because it's really confident at higher speeds. So yes, it's quite a tall, narrow, lightweight little car, so it does get blown about a bit by, you know, winds coming off lorries, that kind of thing, crosswinds on the motorways. That's inevitable, that's physics. But it still feels really secure, really confident. You would drive this on a very long motorway journey and you would be very happy about it. So don't go thinking that the Inster is just a city car. It's not. It's been designed as something much more than that. It's perfect for the city, but it's very, very capable outside of it too. In fact, if anything, it's actually quite good fun out of the city. So I think that's the real joy of it, is that it is so well suited to urban stuff like this, but it is also the car that you're going to jump in and quite happily nip up the motorway for a few hours, and that's just not even going to be something you would question at all. It's great. Really, really lovely. Efficiency is a real strong point with the Inster, and we were seeing over 4 miles per kilowatt hour without trying very hard at all. That equates to a range of around about 200 miles from this long range model. Even in winter, I reckon you'll probably see 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour fairly easily, which is good for a range of about 170 miles. So, I want to talk to you about numbers because we have not talked about the pricing on the Inster yet. And that is quite a crucial thing, isn't it? So, if you look at list prices for this car, it looks quite pricey. So it does start from under £23,000 for the base one, but almost all of the people who've ordered the Inster so far and who are interested in it are showing that they want the top spec one, so they're going for the O2, if not possibly even the Inster Cross, which is quite cool, sort of slightly chunky looking, and you even get kind of a roof rack and that kind of thing. Now, if you go for the O2 with a bigger battery, you're looking at over £27,000. The Inster Cross is over 28. Now, that's quite a lot of money, isn't it? But if you look at monthly prices, Hyundai have actually done quite well. So you can go for the O2 in a sort of spec that people are going to want, and you're going to pay just over £300 after a £3,000 deposit or Part X. But that's very much on a par with rivals like the Renault 5, the Citroën EC3, and it's not bad, is it really, given the kind of tech that you're getting on this car with the heat pump, with the battery preheating, all of that kind of thing. Not to mention the sort of comforts you get in it. I think it's pretty good. So don't dismiss it based on it being kind of a high list price on paper, because I do think that the monthlies on this do stack up quite well, especially because it's just a car that I really, really love. Nonetheless, what a joy that we've got so many great small electric cars to choose from, and the Inster is up there as one of the absolute best. Don't forget to head to CarGurus.co.uk for a whole host of fantastic used cars, including some really great electric options. And while you're here, please do like the video, subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel and turn your notifications on so that you don't miss any of our videos.